Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe this, but more Resident Evil 4 Remake leaks have surfaced. No, I am literally not joking. This is a video that you do not want to miss. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, they're just leaks, they're not real, and they're not confirmed. But I just want to say that by the time I am done reading these leaks, at the end of this video, I want to give my personal thoughts as to why I think these leaks could be true. See, leaks aren't always true, and sometimes they do become true. But after reading these leaks, I feel like these RE4 Remake leaks are the most believable leaks that we've gotten so far. And I'm going to go through and explain every single leak and explain why I think they could be true. But of course, none of this is confirmed, but I just want to make some sense of it and basically explain my side and why I think we could possibly see a lot of this in the actual game. But as always, before we get started, a big thumbs up is greatly appreciated, and if you like daily Resident Evil content, then be sure to subscribe. Alright, all jokes aside, let's get into it. Okay, so there's a lot here, and I'm going to go through every single point, and then after I'm done, I'm going to go back and explain why I think each of these could end up being true. Because a while back, we got RE4 Remake leaks that were saying things like Capcom wants to cut out Hunnigan completely from the game, you know, the person who helps you out throughout the game. Then there were other leaks like, oh, Claire's gonna be a part of the game, and just random leaks where when reading them, it's just like, these can't be true, right? Unlike these leaks that I'm about to read, where I feel like a lot of this is actually pretty believable. Okay, so the first 2 points here, this is basically from 4chan. I know, right? What a credible source. But it says right here, little details about the project. And the first point says it's third-person survival horror with more action segments like RE3 Remake. Now, if you guys don't know, the people who worked on the RE2 Remake are working on this remake. So it makes sense that RE4 Remake is going to be more horror themed with more action sequences like RE3. And I think this is the right move. I do think the RE4 Remake should take advantage of horror while at the same time retaining that action part, because part of what makes Resident Evil 4 so fun for me is the gameplay and the gameplay loop. It's just so much fun mowing down a whole group of zombies. The next point says Lewis has more plot relevance and he'll get a full character reworked like Carlos in RE3. Wow, that was a tongue twister. I don't know why. But of course, like Carlos in the RE3 remake, he got a full character rework, just completely reworked. And honestly, I think that was the best decision because I really liked Carlos in RE3. Okay, now moving on. Ashley has a new design with college student vibe. Her classic one is a bonus. Now this is one of my favorite leaks, and I'll talk about this one later in this video, so stay tuned, because I actually have a very good explanation as to why I think that one is true as well. Ashley got a character development arc where she begins as a helpless girl and becomes more confident, helps Leon unlocking doors, and even helps him fight by distracting enemies. Sadler is more of a scientist now. 3 bosses were cut. 1 is a quick time event chase now, which I'm assuming probably like the chase in the RE2 remake with the giant alligator. The village is a lot more tight now with more houses as well. Separate Ways is back, so the mode where you play as Ada, and also mercenaries. Now this makes sense because if you've played RE4, you would know that Separate Ways and mercenaries are major parts of the game, and if either one of those were cut, that would be a big problem. If you ask me, RE3 Remake really got away without putting mercenaries in the game, but RE4 Remake cannot get away without mercenaries and Separate Ways. There is no way that can happen. And then they say Assignment Ada, which is the bonus Ada mode, is cut for now, which I also think makes sense and could be true, which again, I'll explain after I'm done. Krauser got a rework in terms of character and design entirely, and the final boss is not Spider Sadler now, which I think is the least believable leak on this list, which again, I will explain in a second. Okay, so with all of that said, those are all the points. Now, the most important part of this video is I'm going to explain why I think all of this could be true. because I'm not just trying to sit here and mislead you guys. Oh, RE4 leaks, guys, these are 100% true. Again, none of this is confirmed, but if you open your mind a little bit, you can kind of see how all of this could actually end up becoming true. Okay, so first off, Lewis having more plot relevance in the RE4 remake. This makes sense. One of the biggest complaints of the original game is Lewis had like no major character development. It felt like he was supposed to be this major character, and he was, but at the same time he wasn't. I think it makes sense for Capcom to explore his character and really expand the lore, expand in the character development of people like, you know, Sadler, Salazar, Lewis, Ashley, you know. Next, Ashley has a new design with college student vibes, and her classic outfit being a bonus. This also makes sense because in the RE3 remake, basically every single character got a design rework. You know, Jill got a rework, Carlos, like every single character. And to further back up my claim, if you guys remember in Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which is the Netflix, you know, series or whatever, they show a picture of Ashley and you can see that her outfit is a little bit different. She still has that orangish, like, I don't know if you want to call it orange, but you know, that little sweater she's got on. But if you look at her shoulders, it's a little bit different. It looks like she doesn't have those little flaps that she does in RE4. It looks like those are backpack straps. So if that's the design that they're going with in the RE4 remake, then this makes sense, which is why I think this rumor right here could be true of her having a complete redesign. And in my last RE4 video, or my RE4 remake video, I said that Ashley should get more character development. And one of the things that I think she should do is, you know, be able to defend herself and help out Leon. And this leak right here says Ashley is getting more character development, where she begins as a helpless girl and over time becomes more confident. This makes sense. I think this is the route they should go with. And Sadler becoming more of a scientist, this makes sense. It feels like in RE4, Sadler knows so much about science and so much about Las Plagas, but we don't really see too much of his knowledge and don't really get to explore more of Sadler's history and more of his, I guess, chemistry with the virus. The village being more tight with more houses, this makes sense because I feel like the village is one of the most iconic locations of RE4, so it makes sense that you cut out all of the filler, make it a little bit smaller, but add more houses. I think this makes perfect sense, and we see a little bit of this in Resident Evil Village, where you have kind of this small village, but there's a lot of houses to explore. Krauser getting a rework in terms of character and design, this also makes sense. I'm not sure what they mean by design, but in terms of character, I think this is the best route because in RE4, you don't really get to see a whole lot of Krauser's history. I mean, they kind of introduce him as like this character that we've seen before in the RE series, but we haven't. Because remember, Resident Evil 4 came out before Darkside Chronicles, which is the game that basically like introduced Krauser and Leon's history. So at the time when RE4 came out, we had no idea who Krauser was, but Capcom made it seem like we already knew who he was. So I think it makes sense that they explore his character and expand him a little bit more than what we've seen in the original game. The final boss is not going to be Spider Sadler. Now, I have no idea what this means. Does this mean Sadler is going to have a different form, or we're going to get a completely different boss entirely, which again, I hope isn't true. But at the same time, this is a remake, and if we think about the Resident Evil 2 remake and the 3 remake, the bosses were completely redesigned. So I could honestly see Spider Sadler getting a complete redesign, where instead he's like a giant like snake or something else. But then again, comment down below, do you guys think these leaks are real? Do you think they're fake? I want to hear your guys' opinions on the RE4 remake leaks. But as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, then a big thumbs up is greatly appreciated, and as always, I will catch you all in the next one, and peace out.